another issue that is still uncertain is the decision of the government to ban online gambling. Now, you moved a bill. It was returned by the governor because the governor felt that the bill lacked legislative competence. What is the plan on that front from here on?
Oh, look, far be it from me to unnecessarily politicize the office of governor, but I think this governor, it has been clear, sees himself as some kind of constitutional expert more than any other governor has ever been in Tamil Nadu, which is a bit shocking for a former police officer who has neither studied the law nor ever sat in a legislature. And this is not the first time. He's keeping on sending bills back talking about legislative competence and all that. I just see as obstructionist. I don't want to say much more than that. The legislature unanimously approved the NEET bill and was sent to him, and he finally signed it, sent it to the president. The cabinet has made the decision, which has been publicly recorded, that we are going to reintroduce the online gaming ban bill, which is a very specific bill. It only says that because, it's a very technical bill. It says things that have pseudo-random number generators and are certified as games of chance because of the scientific. I'm an operations research major. I studied and taught stochastic processes, so I know, a bit of what I'm talking about. The bill is very solid. You get any scholar to opine on it. It's very solid. In fact, yesterday, the union minister somewhere has opined that it's within the rights of Tamil Nadu to pass such a bill. So this bill will get unanimously approved by the legislature in the next few days. It will get sent back to this governor. Let's see whether his brilliance and expertise extends beyond that of the union ministry and of the elected legislature and ministers yet again.
So you intend to move the bill forward once again. But let me ask you this in the context of what's happening at the GST Council, because this is a matter that has been with the GOM for several months now. There has been no forward movement on this issue on taxation as far as online gambling, etc. is concerned. Not just this aspect, but outside of gambling, what is the expectation now in terms of big ticket items that you believe the GST Council needs to address?
Well, let's first go to this GOM on gaming, horse racing and casinos, right? Well, it actually submitted its report. And then quite surprisingly for me, because of the indulgence of the Honorable Finance Minister of the Union of India, she allowed for it to be taken back and re-looked at. Re-looked at didn't arrive at any different outcome, to be honest. I mean, I don't want to prejudge. But, the committee, and this is not a committee that has any political differences, right? The chair of the committee is the Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya, who's in the BJP coalition. Senior member of the committee is the Honorable Finance Minister of the government of Uttar Pradesh, which is a BJP government. So it's not like there's any political differences here. At the end, after going around and around, we came back to the same thing. And in fact, I gave a written submission that was a very clear situation based on some expert advice that I got, which said, if you insist on trying to tax kind of platform fees or gross gaming revenues separately from the so-called payout or, the net payout stuff, then the simplest way is to have two accounts ab initio. On the date of collection of the revenue, you split the revenue into two pools, service fee / platform fee / gross gaming revenue, call it what you want, and pay the GST on that and take it into your own account and put the rest of the money in escrow account, and from the escrow account pay out all winnings and let that be subject to TDS and income taxation. Therefore, you have two different schemes, direct taxation, indirect taxation. None of this was acceptable to the other members of the committee, as I say, apart from political differences. This is including the BJP, including the TMC, including everybody. So the most likely outcome, in my expectation, is that the same report will go back that says there's no consensus. Basically, we go back to the original report and say tax the entire thing at 28%. Now the question is, last council meeting, it didn't come because the Honorable Chief Minister of Meghalaya was the chairperson who should have presented the report, was tied up in state elections in Meghalaya. Now that's over and he's back as the Chief Minister, presumably back as the council member and the GOM convener. So my best guess is it will get placed again.
Since we are talking about the states and the centre and federal relations, I also want to talk to you about what is expected now is the setting up of the 16th Finance Commission, which will take place at some point later this year. Now, you have raised concerns on the horizontal devolution, which is based, of course, on the income distance. And I remember you saying that it's not the money that you begrudge, but it is the lack of progress. Now, what is your ask ask in terms of change? What is it that you would like to see being changed in terms of the way that the Finance Commission looks at devolution to states, horizontal and vertical?
Yeah, please give me about 3 minutes. I just want to touch it in 3 perspectives. The first is, in every federal society, there's always a transfer of funds from the better off to the less well off. We welcome it, we're good patriots, we love it. The problem is that in most other federal systems, or within the country, let's say the United States, the rich New York's, California's compared to the North Dakotas, Missouris, the European Union, the rich Western European countries compared to the Italy's, Greece's, Portugal's, the China, the coastal rich provinces compared to the hinterland. In most of these places, the transfers narrow the gap. You find the poor coming up and the rich kind of slowing down so that they get closer together. 25 years or 30 years of finance commissions in India, we have not only not seen the gap narrow, we have not seen the gap stabilize, we have not seen the gap widen, we have seen the gap accelerate in its widening. That means the rich are getting really rich and the poor are getting much, much poorer, or they're not coming up at all enough. So the gap between the well-off and the not well-off is rapidly accelerating. So then I asked the question, at the 15th Finance Commission itself, I said, if part of your ambition is equity, that's what they said, they want equity, they want people to have somewhat similar lives, have enough support, then you have been failing miserably. That means 2 things are wrong. One, the way you measure progress is wrong, and the way you incentivize progress is wrong. And I said, both of these, you're taking too long-term a perspective. You're taking 5 years, by which time everything is already a fait accompli and there's nothing you can do about it. So what I suggested back then, I'll suggest again now. I said, number one, make the devolution formula not a fixed formula for 5 years, but variable performance based for year over year. And then second, make those performance variables something that is actually in the control of the government rather than an outcome at the end of a year or 2 years. For example, I said, the percentage of girls that are enrolled in school at the age of 5, make that the higher that gets, the more money you get. The percentage of girls that get menstrual health support so that they can continue their education past adolescence, make that a target, and the higher you get, the more money you get. The percentage of girls that graduate from high school, make that a target, and the higher you get year over year, the more money. So there are measures that we know beyond doubt that if these measures improve, then for sure the economy is going to improve later. You're going to have more equitable, more knowledgeable, more productive, more kind of, supported, more empowered citizens in the society. Therefore, you'll get a better economy. So why are you focusing on distance to actual target, which is too lagging indicator of measure? Why don't you take leading indicators, or percentage of vaccination, or you pick? I mean, women happens to be the thing that we have learned the most in Tamil Nadu. Empowering women is by far the single best thing. But there could be others. Look for interim measures and give interim awards and make those variable. And that's already in my submission to the 15th Finance Commission. I will reiterate those broad principles to the 16th Finance Commission.
Well, as and when the 16th Finance Commission is set up, we will, of course, see which direction it chooses to take in terms of the terms of reference. But let me end then by asking you talked about indicators, and you have acknowledged in your budget speech that we are in challenging times. Of course, global economic volatility will impact not just market sentiment, but economic sentiment and business confidence. At this point, what are you most concerned about? And in terms of investments, every state announcing, Karnataka announcing an investment from Foxconn, Telangana announcing similar sort of MOUs being inked, and so on and so forth. What is the outlook for Tamil Nadu in terms of investments? Where do you hope to draw investments in from?
Yeah, I would say Tamil Nadu is already one of the most industrialized states, and particularly in the MSME sector and in the percentage of people or the number of people employed in manufacturing, Tamil Nadu is far ahead of most states. So, in fact, you saw the statistic, I think 40% of all women employed in the manufacturing sector in India, 40% are in Tamil Nadu alone. This is, again, testament to our empowerment of women. I think the potential is limitless. I was just at a conclave in Delhi where I agreed with former Niti Aayog chairman, Mr. Amitabh Kant, that this is India's moment, right? The global macro picture, both politically and economically, is such that India is kind of the cynosure of all eyes. People want to divest from China. The scale, both economically and demographically, of India is so high they cannot think anywhere else. It's going to be a big market, it's a reasonable market, and it has a huge talent pool. So India is the place that everybody wants to be. Now the question is, are we making it conducive for them? And making it conducive for them is not mostly about what discounts and what other things you give. It's about having the right talent pool. It's about having the right climate. It's about being welcoming, having the ease of doing business, the laws, the systems, the dispute resolution, all that workable and understandable and therefore calculatable risk-wise. This is the kind of overall context. And in fact, in Tamil Nadu, at my request, the Cabinet commissioned a study. What have all those people we gave incentives to, have they come here, have they delivered the results we expected, and what is it they think is the biggest factors driving their decision to invest here or build factories here as opposed to somewhere else, and all these variables that I told you, connectivity, infrastructure, talent pool, ease of doing business, global airports, ports, etc., all these feature a lot. So in natural terms, Tamil Nadu is in a good place. We need to be doing a lot more networking, a lot more marketing, a lot more connectivity. And I think that, while we've got a decent share till now, our global economic advisors, in particular Dr. Raghuram Rajan, Dr. Arvind Subramanian, and Dr. S. Narayan, former Union Finance Secretary, have been really pushing us to make some major reforms and constitute some empowered committees and stuff like that. It's under consideration by the Chief Minister. I think we'll announce some steps right after this budget to actually accelerate that pace of connectivity with the world and drawing investments. It is India's moment. Every state needs to do this. It's not about Tamil Nadu. It is India's moment. And as much as the union would like to think that they drive everything, in fact, the action happens in the states. Yesterday, Dr. Suman Berry was here, the new Niti Aayog Vice Chairman, and he said the same thing to the Chief Minister. He said, development happens in the states, and that's a fact. So the states need to step up big time. We're certainly looking forward to doing our part. The union can facilitate for us. That was one of the discussions I had with Dr. Jaishankar, the EAM, Honorable EAM, when I met him a few days ago in Delhi, and he was also of the same opinion that this is a golden opportunity for us and that the state should be encouraged in every way possible, and he offered to support us in any way he can, and we look forward to that.
Finance Minister Thiagarajan, always a pleasure. Appreciate you joining us here on the Newsmaker to take us through the details of the budget that you've presented for the state, but more importantly, the road ahead in terms of reform and execution. Always a pleasure. Appreciate your time. We will take a break here on CNBC TV 18. There's a lot more coming up. Don't go anywhere. We're back in a minute. We're small.